So strings are other very important data structure in Python, and strings are nothing but their sequence of characters, right? And characters are typically stored in a computer using ASCII or Unicode. And in Python, strings are by default sequence of Unicode characters. Unicode and ASCII are two different standards on how do you represent characters, right? And Unicode basically has can represent characters in more languages than ASCII. ASCII is the older format. Unicode is a more modern format which can represent characters in multiple languages and also more special characters, right? So let's understand. Let's go through some examples and understand how to create strings. Okay, you can create a string using single quotes. You can create a string using single quotes like this. If you say my string equals to hello, these are put in single quotes, right? And when you print this, you get hello. You can also assign a variable my string here with this value hello. You can also put it in double quotes or triple quotes. Any of these things will work. Typically, triple quotes, as we saw, are used for multi-line. They're typically used for multi-line comments, as we saw earlier when we learned about how to add comments to code, right? So, but any of the three things are valid. So you can either use single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes to assign a string. Okay, now how do you access characters in a string? Okay, let's understand that. So when you say my string equals to hello, the character this is at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you say print my string 0, it will print the capital H as shown here. So this print statement prints capital H. Similarly, just like in lists or in tuples, I have -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Okay, so if I say print -1, so print my string of -1, it will print the last character, which is small o. Okay, so this sequence, this print command prints small o. I can also print, so I have H, E, L, L, O, right? This is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I say my string 2 to 5, right, which means it starts from 2 and goes up to 5 minus 1, which is 4. So it will print LLO as you see here, right? This is how you index a string and get parts of or substrings. You can get substrings by using this numeric indexing, using positive numbers, negative numbers, or a range of numbers. Now the immediate question is, what happens if you try to access a string? So my string, as we saw here, is HELLO, right? But what if I say my string of 15? That doesn't exist, right? Because this is at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no 15 here. So as soon as you try to do that, it generates an error. It says string index out of range. Just look at the error messages that it gives. It says index error. It says this is index is out of range because the values for HELLO are from 0 to 4, right? HELLO. The O is at 4, 1, 2, 3, right? So 15 is nowhere there. So it gives you an index out of range type of error. Similarly, what happens if you try to give a non-integer value? So if I say my string 1.5, this makes no sense, right? So it says string indices. It also raises an error called type error. And it says string indices must be integers and not floats or double. Okay, so that's important. Now, how do you change or delete a string? Remember, a very, very important characteristic of a string is that strings are immutable. Just like your, just to give you, so your tuples are immutable. Your tuples are immutable while your lists are mutable. So what does immutable means? That you can't take one element and change it. For example, when I try to do this, let's see what happens. Okay, when I say my string equals to hello, and if I say my string 4 equal to small s, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm trying to replace this this O with S. As soon as you try to do that, because strings are immutable, this is very, very important. Because just like tuples, strings are also immutable. You cannot do that. Let's look at the error that it generates. It says str object does not support item assignment. It doesn't let you change a single item. It doesn't let you assign a value to a single item. That means that it's again a type error where it says you cannot do item assignment, which means they're immutable. Okay. Similarly, we cannot remove a single item. We cannot delete or remove characters from the string, but you can delete the whole string. Suppose if I do this, if I use the keyword del, and if I say del my string, it deletes the whole string. Now when I try to print my string, suppose if I run del my string, and if I try to print my string, then what happens is it gives you an error which is name my string is not defined, because you deleted it, right? You deleted the whole string. You cannot delete one element or one character, but you can delete the whole string. That's possible. Okay. Now let's go through some important operations in strings. The first operation is concatenation. Let's see. It's very, very elegant. Suppose if I have two strings, S1 and S2, hello and Satish, I can just use the plus operator, the addition operator here, to actually concatenate these two strings, and I get hello Satish. Interestingly, I can repeat the string S1 n times if I give S1 star 3. So as soon as I do this, it basically repeats the variable. It repeats the value that's in hello. That's in S1, which is hello. It repeats it 3 times. Okay. So you can concatenate or you can repeat. So multiplication basically means repetition in strings in Python. Okay. So the next thing is, how do you iterate through a string? Again, just like other data structures, the keyword in is very useful. Imagine if I want to count in my sentence here, right? I want to count how many O's are there. Okay, so I'll declare a variable count equals to 0, and I'll say for L in hello world. Now what happens is this L initially will be assigned a value of capital H, then it will be assigned a value of capital E, then small e, small l, small o, etc. So it's basically a loop or an iterator or an iteration, okay, using the keyword in, just like in lists and tuples, right? Even in dictionaries we saw this. Now I'm saying if L equals to O, then increment count. And then at the end of this loop, so this loop finishes here, I'm saying print count letters found. So 2 letters found, okay? So you can use the keyword in for iterating or for looping each of the characters in a string. Okay. The next operator, just like in lists and tuples, we also have a Boolean operator, which is, so this Boolean, if L is present in hello world, it returns true. Now if you look at it, print or in hello world, because or is there here at this part, or is there, it will return true. Right? So it can be used either for a character, for a single character, or for a substring. Right? This in keyword is very, very useful here. Now there are other functions and methods of string which are extremely useful. Suppose if I have a string hello, which capital H, and if I say lower, if I want to convert into lower case, which means I want to convert this capital H to small h. If I say dot lower, it will all get converted to smaller into smaller case. Similarly, if I take this and I say upper, it will all get converted into all caps, all capital letters. Similarly, if I have a string like this and if I say use the word split, if I use the function split, the function split splits this sentence based on spaces or tabs, right? So what you get here is a list. What you get here is a list with each word being an element of the list. Similarly, given a list, you can combine all of them using the function join. Right? If I just take an empty string here, and if I say join, and if I join it, so this is basically a space, right? This is basically a space. If I join it with, if I give all the words in my sentence, right? Then it will all get concatenated, because the join function concatenates elements in a list to create a string. Now here there is a small interesting thing that I wanted to show you, right? Now instead of this, if I give comma, let's see what happens. So basically it's joining the same thing with a comma separator, right? Now if I give hyphen here, right, it is going to join all of them. So whatever character you give here, that will be used as a delimiter. That will be used in place of space. So if you see, this and will are combined with a hyphen here because I gave a hyphen here. Similarly, will and split, the next two words are also combined using a hyphen. So whatever you give here, that will be used, right? So the right thing to use is space, a simple space, right? So when I run this now, they'll all be concatenated with a space, right? So join is a very interesting operator where you could take each of these words in a list and join them or combine them, right? I could also use find function. Find is very useful. Suppose if I have a string like this, so this is index 0, 1, 2, 3. The fourth one is a space. Fifth is M, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. If I say find MO, it will try to find the index where it can find MO. It finds here, right? So it returns 5 because that's the index where it started matching this string, right? So find can be used to find the index where this matches the largest string, right? Similarly, you can replace items in a string. Okay, suppose if I have a string here, bad morning, dot replace bad with good, right? Now it creates a new string called good morning because strings are immutable. Don't forget that, which means it's not really replacing this bad with good. It's creating a new string. It's creating a new string in which it replaces the bad with good. It doesn't replace this string itself. Okay, so just to show you that example, let's improvise this case because I want to show you that example much more clearly. Let's assume I have a string s1 equals to bad morning. Okay, let me keep the bad with capital B. Now if I say s1 dot replace, sorry, small s, if I say s2 equals to s1 dot replace, now if I print s1 and if I print s2, right, let me run this, right? So you should notice that my s1 had bad morning. Within s1, in s1 I'm replacing bad with good and creating a new string called s2. Now if I print s1, my s1 is immutable, so it will still continue to be bad morning because I can't change elements, because remember, strings are immutable. Strings are immutable, which means you cannot change one element or one index value, the value at one index for a string. So it creates a completely new string. So when I print s2, it creates good morning. This is important. A lot of people get confused with this replace, and they get confused that strings are immutable. How come replace is working out? It literally creates a whole new variable. Now let's look at a couple of very simple programs, right? So so let's assume I'm given a string and I want to find if it's a palindrome or not. Palindromes are if you read the string from first to last character or last character to first character, if they're the same. Like if I reverse madam, I get madam, right? So if they both are equivalent, those are called palindromes, right? First thing, I convert my string into lowercase and I have a function called reversed, which will reverse my string. So this is my original string, which is converted into lowercase. So my string right now is madam, right? My reverse string is basically reversing this whole thing, which is also madam. Okay. Now, instead of if I say my string equals to reverse string, that will not work because my string is pointing to some location in memory and reverse string is pointing to some other location. So a good way to check if these two strings are same is to convert them to lists first. So list of my string will convert this whole thing into a list. M-A-D-A-M. Sorry. This will also convert this into a list. M-A-D-A-M. Now you can compare these two lists with a double equal to sign. And if the list of my string is equal to list of reverse string, then it's a palindrome, right? So let's just run this quickly just to make sure there are no errors here. Yes. So if I change this to, if I just change it slightly, then it's no more a palindrome because I changed the last character. Yes, now it works, right? Simple example. Now imagine if I want to write a simple Python program to sort words in a string in alphabetic order. That's very straightforward. Imagine if I have a string like this, right? I can use the string.split function to get a okay. So what this generates is it generates a list for me with each of these words, with Python as the first word, program as the second value, to as the third one, sort as the fourth one, and so on and so forth, right? This basically generates a list. This generates a list of each of the words. Now I can just say words.sort, okay? Because sort function, you can apply sort function on the list, right? List, as we saw earlier, has a sort function. That's what we are just applying. Now once we sort it, we are just saying for word in words print word. And now what I get is basically in the alphabetic order, I get all the words here. Very simple. Remember, we use strings a lot in lot of data because in lot of our case studies and lot of our running examples, we have text data. We have text data where we take, like for example, Amazon reviews, right? Or questions on Quora. All of that is text data. We manipulate text a lot, and string manipulation is a very, very important task. And all these functions are extensively used throughout this course.